Hello, this is our Literacy and History, Social Science, and the edTPA final project, video project. In our group, we have Minami, Kevin, Carlos, and Celeste. So here we go. So the first book we had was Reading Like an Historian, Teaching Literacy in Middle and High School History Classrooms by Sam Weinberg, Daisy Martin, and Chauncey Montesano.
To start this presentation off, I'd like to highlight a quote from the book. It says, historians have developed powerful ways of reading that allow them to see patterns, make sense of contradictions, and formulate reasoned interpretations when others get lost in the forest of detail and throw up their hands in frustration. I thought this was a great quote that really encompasses the reasons why we teach students to read like historians.
All right, so a little bit about the book. Each chapter is centered around a historical event or topic with a core question. So, for example, um, why Abraham Lincoln is a racist. That is one event and topic that is discussed. And then it gives background information for each topic and has important historical concepts included in each lesson. And it has about 2 to 3 lesson scenarios for each different topic that you can do. Each one ranges from about an hour in length or up to 3 or 4 hours of actual classroom time. And then it gives you all the sources and tools and suggested resources for each lesson.
Why teach students to read like historians? It makes teaching and learning history more meaningful for both the teacher and the students. It sparks student interest and make lessons more engaging. It gets students to actually do history rather than just regurgitate historical facts. It improves literacy skills and reading comprehension. And finally, as the authors say in the introduction, it provides essential tools for citizenship. That would be skills like being able to determine the credibility of a source, being able to synthesize multiple information from multiple sources, so on and so forth. Purpose of this presentation, we decided to highlight just 3 chapters from the book that we thought would be the most meaningful and that highlighted the most important concepts in teaching history, and then also the ones that we felt were the most applicable across all history, social science disciplines.
So for our first lesson, we're talking about the topic is Abraham Lincoln and the Civil War, and the main concept is questioning sources and contextualization. The core question involved in this lesson is, was Lincoln a racist? And then through this lesson, throughout it, students are analyzing multiple documents and speeches to answer a central question with supporting evidence. They get to analyze different multiple perspectives and create their own opinion based off of the core questions. Students will find 1850s was a time when racism and racial prejudice was universal. Being able to compare their time and time period of 1850s, be able to try to jump into the shoes of people into 1850s, and then strategic and political stances within the sources over Lincoln's personal beliefs on race, being able to analyze Lincoln's personal beliefs and his opinions on race itself. And then Lincoln's ideas are more complex than just a simple label. So being able to look deeper into the text instead of just the surface layer information of the text.
Some of the skills and concepts that students will learn from this lesson. First, students will learn that context matters. So we have to teach them that we have to seek to understand historical events and historical phenomena on their own terms rather than through a modern lens. What that means is if we're answering that core question, is Lincoln a racist? If we answer that from the perspective of that time period of the Civil War, then Lincoln would not be considered a racist. But if we answer that question through a modern lens and through the standard of our time, he would probably be considered a racist. So context matters. Also asking questions about historical context. So as the students read through the different sources, students have to ask questions like, what was the setting and how does that affect our understanding? What was the purpose for using these specific words? And then finally, how does the document help deepen my understanding of this time period? And then finally, it challenges misconceptions. Abraham Lincoln is a very famous historical figure, so most students will have some background knowledge about who he is. But We have to get them to understand the depth and layers of history and this idea that answers to most historical questions will lie somewhere on a spectrum rather than just a black or white answer. And then finally, the importance of documents that may not directly answer the essential questions. Some of the sources in there have nothing to do with Abraham Lincoln. However, it does set the context for the time period. So the document itself is still important.
So for our second lesson that we are analyzing, the skill that we are building for our students is corroborating and making generalizations. So the topic is electricity and women's work in the 1920s. The core question is who really benefited from electricity and when? And students will analyze and research multiple sources to determine the representativeness of Mrs. Lathrop's letter. In Mrs. Lathrop's letter, she talks about how Thomas Edison's invention of electricity has helped her with all these different household appliances and changed her life within the house. And they're going to see how well that actually represented the people of the 1920s and women in the 1920s. And then students will read about various impacts of new technology. And then throughout the whole entire lesson, students will find that Miss Lathrop's letter was not the typical woman Miss Lathrop was not the typical woman in the United States in the 1920s, and that technology reached and affected different groups at different time periods, and there were both positive and negative influences of advancement of technology. So those are the key findings that students will find throughout this lesson.
This lesson, students are going to learn how to corroborate sources, which will allow them to see and compare multiple historical perspectives, and it allows students to gain a more complex view of the time period. This is also a great warning against making generalizations, as one person does not represent an entire population, and similarly, one person's experience does not represent everyone's experience. And then finally, it allows students to see the complex cause and effect relationship of many historical changes. In this case, it would be the technological advances in the 1920s. So it introduces the concept of how historical changes affect people differently, and we have to ask who benefits, and on the other side, who suffers.
So lastly, our last lesson is Rosa Parks and the civil rights, and the main skill that our students are learning through this is questioning counts and questioning credibility. So core question is, where did Rosa Parks sit, and why did the Montgomery bus boycott succeed? And in that, students will examine 3 primary sources to determine where Rosa Parks sat on the bus. They're all different, multiple perspectives from different people, different accounts, and they will question the accountability of those sources. Students will analyze several primary and secondary sources to explain why the boycott succeeded, and then students will find seemingly reliable primary sources have conflicting info on where Rosa Parks sat. Multiple figures and their efforts contributed to the success of the Montgomery bus boycott. All right, and that is.
Through this lesson, students are going to learn how to question accounts. There's a very common misconception about how primary sources are the most reliable, but that is absolutely not true, and this is a great way to show students that. It also teaches them how to work through contradicting sources and information. That can be a very tough activity to do. So it will get students to kind of scaffold their way through working through contradicting sources and information. It also teaches historical open-mindedness. Again, Rosa Parks is a very famous historical figure, but this activity really expands on that traditional story. And then finally, it asks the question of whom does history remember and forget? So it's a great opportunity to examine how we pluck figures from the past cast of characters. And it introduces the idea of dynamics of social action and how people really put aside their differences to work toward a common goal. And you can also connect this concept to other mass movements such as abolition and the women's suffrage movement.
All right, so finally here we have connections to the edTPA. So throughout these lessons, they show how to improve students' disciplinary literacy skills. For example, sourcing, contextualization, corroborating sources, and determining credibility, and much, much more. We can only go through 3 different chapters because of the time limit, but it does show throughout the entire book a bunch of different skills, disciplinary literacy skills that students can build in the classroom. And then so it has connection to literacy skills to historical content, and then we connected it to the three different tests of the edTPA. So first, for planning instruction, they are all exemplary lesson plans that can be used for the edTPA, and good models for us to use in our edTPA lesson plans. And then task 2 is for instruction. It illustrates and explains the skills that students should demonstrate in the submitted video clip. So what you want the people who are grading your edTPA to see in your video clips. And then task 3 for the assessment, it provides tools that build student skills towards the assessments. It doesn't actually give the assessments itself that you need to provide to the students, but it does show the skills that need to be built towards the end assessment of the edTPA. So thank you very much, and that is our part 1 of the video project.